Everyone, welcome to episode 2 of our broadcast, The Culinary Cougar. Today we are going to be making French toast, and maybe you're thinking to yourself, I know how to make French toast. There's nothing difficult about that. And there's nothing difficult about this either, but this is special French toast because you can make a whole lot of it at once and you don't have to wait for it to keep coming out of the pan. So let's give this a shot. Let me show you what I did to get ready. Okay, first thing I did, I got my oven. It is preheating to 425 degrees. And I've also arranged the racks. I did this before I turned it on. Don't try to grab them when they're hot unless you have pot holders in your hand. So I've got one rack on the bottom that's got the plastic cover on it. That kind of prevents, it's a handy thing. It prevents drippy stuff from getting in the bottom. And then I've got the top rack is about 6 inches or so from the top of the oven. So I arranged those, turned the oven on, 425, and let it heat up all the way. So we are ready to get started. Here's the equipment that you're going to need. Okay, you will need a baking sheet. This handy dandy one's had a lot of use, so it's got a rim on it that'll prevent juicy stuff from leaking off the side. So that's the kind of baking sheet you want. You're going to need a whisk, this baby right here, a measuring cup. Has to be able to measure at least 1 cup. So it doesn't have to be a huge one, but at least 1 cup. Your handy dandy measuring spoon and a bowl, preferably a cute one, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, as far as food items, here's what you're going to need here, your preparation. Okay, so we've got milk. It can be any kind of milk you want. I've got whole milk here. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of butter, and that'll be melted, and we'll prepare that in the microwave in just a second. You need cinnamon, salt, brown sugar. I've got a whole thing of it. You only need like 2 teaspoons of it, so if you don't have a lot, don't worry. You're going to need vanilla. Whoa, vanilla. 3 eggs, some vegetable spray to grease up your pan, and 4 to 6 slices. I've got 6 here because I just happen to have 6, but if you want to make more, you want to make less, let's start with 4 to 6 slices of your sandwich bread. So let's get started. Put it so you can actually see me today. All right, so the first thing you need to do is to combine. Actually, let me show you the butter first. We'll get that all melted. So I've pre-measured about 2 tablespoons of butter in this little glass dish. If you've ever noticed on your butter, you've got these like little squares marked off, and each one says 1 tablespoon. So if you take a knife, and if it's a warm day like today, you can probably just use a butter knife. You can use a sharper one if it doesn't go through. And you can put it down on a cutting board and just cut right through the paper and get the amount of butter that you want. So it's all pre-measured. You don't need to measure your butter. I'm going to put this in the microwave for about 10 seconds to melt it down. All right. So after that, we are going to take our eggs and we're going to add them to our handy dandy bowl. While our butter is melting, you can hear it's already done. 10 seconds doesn't last long. I like to bang them together. It's whatever you want to do with your life. Hey, I'm right here. 2. Got my last one right. Yeah. Trace. Okay. Make sure you don't get all the egg gunk off of your hands. That's a beautiful thing. Got my little towel on the side of my apron so I can easily get all the gunky stuff off if you need it. So we got our 3 eggs are in. We are going to need 1 tablespoon of vanilla. I don't know if I have that much. We'll see what happens. Every day is an adventure. So 1 tablespoon, again, they're marked. This is your biggest one, at least it's my biggest one. Oh yeah. Okay, get your tablespoon of vanilla in there. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of packed brown sugar. So first find your teaspoon. Here's your brown sugar. Take it all down to the bottom and open it up. My microwave's yelling at me, like, get the butter! When it says packed, it means to like really squish it down into that teaspoon. So here's what that looks like. There's 1, but we need 2. So here's number 2, the sequel. I like to push it down with the plastic, like right on the bag. Number 2, 2 teaspoons, and we are good to go with the vanilla. Okay, you need half a teaspoon of cinnamon. So here's our cinnamon. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and I have half a teaspoon right now. Let me take that right out of there. You don't want to add a heaping half a teaspoon. Okay, but that's what your teaspoon of cinnamon is going to look like. Throw it right in there. A quarter of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to tell you that this recipe calls for unsalted butter. I only have salted butter. I don't want to make a special trip to the store. So I'm going to skip the salt. Okay, but if you have unsalted butter, do that, and then add 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, okay, to your mix too. Okay, BRB. Not done. I'm doing it for 5 more seconds. All right, so there's my melted butter. Okay, and that is going to go in also. Actually, yeah, throw the butter. Why not? You can use your whisk to scrape it all out. And then you're going to use your whisk and mix it all up. And it says mix it until the sugar is pretty much dissolved in there, which might take a little bit of elbow grease. You don't want to whip it so hard that it's like going all over the place, all over the kitchen, just to save yourself some cleanup. Nobody needs extra cleanup in their life. But we're whisking, Okay, I'll tell you a secret, my butter wasn't fully melted. So I'm getting some little butter chunks in here. I'm guessing by the time we're ready to put it in, it'll be mostly melted because it's hot today. Whew. We have the air conditioning on and it's warm in here. Alrighty. So it's going to look something like this. Lovely, whoa, lovely mess when you're done. Try not to spill it all over my counter. Completely, we did okay with that. All right, and you might be wondering, why is there milk there? Well, now's the time we're going to add the milk. So I'm going to put my whisk aside. Put it right there. Got my milk, and it says 1 cup of milk. And again, this is a liquid measuring cup. Okay, you want to add it so it says cup, which is on that side. You can put it on the counter to make sure you're not holding it crooked while you're measuring it. And then add the cup of milk right to your bowl. I have to say this smells good already. I love the smell of cinnamon and brown sugar and butter. What's not to love here? Okay. We're whisking, and we've got a pretty good mess of slop here. Probably not the most appetizing word you could use. When you're describing it to other people, you have a lovely custard. Not a big mess of slop. Nobody wants to eat slop. All right, so we whisked it all together. Okay, this is the part where it sounds a little bit strange. Okay, you're going to take your cooking spray and make sure you get all the corners of your baking sheet. Okay, you don't want French toast to stick to this. Okay, don't spray it on the floor because it'll make your kitchen floor all slippery. But make sure you get all the corners of your baking sheet. If you don't have cooking spray, you can just use vegetable oil and a paper towel, smear it all around, make sure that your bread doesn't stick because it's a huge thing to clean that up. And we don't need that in our lives. So here's your bowl, your slop, there it is in there. Woo! Okay, there's all kinds of delicious things in there, but don't eat it because there's raw eggs. Even, it smells really good. Okay, you're going to dump it right into your baking sheet. Okay. Ta-da! You like this, Hosier? You may have lost your mind. And I thought this was weird too. Okay, so there it is. Usually when you make French toast, you leave the stuff in the bowl and then you dip the bread into the bowl, but not this way. Okay. So you put your bread. Ta-da! I have 2 hands, so I'm gonna put 2 slices at once. It's up to you what you do. You're in charge of your life. And I will move this down so you can see my hands because who needs to look at my face when you're about to eat? Okay. I have my 6 slices of bread. You might be using 4. That's okay. You might be using 5. Maybe you're going completely wild. There it is. Okay. And then you're going to start from the end that you started with and flop it over. It's okay to get your hands a little dirty. Just make sure that they are clean. Safety tip, wash your hands. And you just let them sit there for a few minutes. Again, my butter's still a little bit chunky. Be better than me. That's all I have to say. Here's what I have to teach you. Just do better. And if you don't, it's not the end of the world. We all learn. And you let that sit for about a minute. Maybe do a little dance in your kitchen. I would like to avoid petting pets at this time because pet hair does tend to find its way into food. So dancing in the kitchen is much preferable to go and playing with your dog while your oven is on and your lovely egg mixture is soaking into your French toast. So what you're going to do after about a minute is you're going to put it on the bottom rack. Okay, remember that one that was all the way at the bottom of the oven closest to the hot part at the bottom? You're going to put your French toast in there for about 10 minutes. Or you can set a timer, you can kind of keep an eye on it. If you have a light that works in your oven, turn the light on so you can watch it without opening the door and letting out all the heat. And after 10 minutes, we'll check it and see what happens. Meet you right back here. Okay, it has been about 10 minutes and I have to tell you, it smells so good in here. I'm going to go in and check. It says cook it until the bottoms of the French toast are golden brown. So I've got my pot holder, I've got my handy spatula. Let's see what it looks like. All right, so here's what it looks like so far. Definitely looks like French toast. Getting there. Okay, the bottoms are pretty brown. I think I'm going to give this about 1 more minute. All right, when the bottom of the French toast looks all right to you, it's about the brownness to which you prefer your French toast when you eat it. You're going to do a little trick with your oven. So follow me. Okay, on my oven, and yours might be a little bit different. Okay, I've got some controls here. It says to switch it. Right now it's on bake. All right, and it's baking at 425. I'm going to turn that off. Okay, I'm going to cancel. I have to hit the cancel button right here to do that. And I'm going to hit broil, and I'm going to do high. All right. What that does is that heats up underneath the top part of the oven, and it gets really hot really fast. All right. So I'm going to take my handy dandy, it's called an oven mitt or a pot holder. I'm going to move my French toast from the bottom rack and just put it on the top rack. So it's really close to that broiler. At this point, you got to watch your French toast pretty carefully. That's where the light underneath is going to come in handy. It's okay if you open it a little to get a closer look, because it's going to cook pretty fast. Anywhere from 1 to 4 minutes, depending on if you have your broiler on high. Maybe put it on low so things don't cook quite as quickly. But we'll check it again in another minute or two to see what it looks like. Hopefully it'll be done because I'm excited to eat it. So is Milo. All right, guys, it didn't take very long underneath the broiler at all, just a minute or two, and it starts to get really nice and crispy up on the top. You cook it to whatever your desired level of doneness is, and when you're done, you can plate it up with whatever you like to eat French toast with. I just have mine right here with some butter and some leftover homemade syrup from last spring. You can use whatever you want. You can put powdered sugar on it. You can add more cinnamon if you've got some jelly. Right now it's strawberry jelly season. I think that'd be great. So here it is, French toast every day, easy enough to make for you and all your friends, and I hope you enjoy it. But don't forget, guys, do your dishes.